It's hard to understand the way that you went out. I bet you're living with a little hint of doubt. Maybe next time when you gotta show your hand, you won't cut and run, you'll finally make a stand. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Existential questions always get you down. All you want to know is are we lost or found? Is there something that you feel you need to chase? I bet you thought you'd put me in my place. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. You can run, you can hide, but inside, I'm finally getting to you. Yes, it's true. I still love you, but I am getting to you.
Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5,
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, guy next door.
Me, DK.
And me, Sam.
Bringing you your high quality double tap of Space Marines and Laser. I can't remember the intro. Laserforce, Space Marines, something. We're here.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hello.
Bringing you the #1 Space Marines podcast in the world.
In the room. Hey guys, how's it going? Nice to see you. Hope you're well.
Good to see you guys too. It feels weird being back after not being on the show last week. When you guys actually did the show, it's like,
Yeah, that's true. I'm usually the one who misses shows in recent times. It's Stan who's been the consistent person.
I very much enjoyed last week. You said about the you referenced something like, "Oh, we won't hear what AT&T are up to this week" or something.
I said Verizon. I know who Than works for. Apparently you don't.
I don't. Same.
He works for the other giant evil telecommunications corporation, not that second tier one that you're thinking of.
I thought they were the same
It's not
thing.
1989, Mr. Steve. Jeez.
To be fair, I don't know the difference. I thought they were the same company.
I mean,
Give it 5 more years. I'm sure it will be.
feels like it sometimes, so whatever,
Yeah.
it's fine.
I mean, if it was football season, if it was American football season, I would know the difference. But seeing as I am not getting my 3-hour at least dose of commercials surrounded by a game. Yeah. Than loves
Yeah.
phones. Damn
Yeah,
right.
but have you set your DraftKings lineup for today? I can't fucking watch sports anymore. Dude. It's all the fucking gambling ads.
It's crazy, man.
It's horrible. Like I'll go on the record. Like I don't think it should be illegal or anything like that.
Yeah.
People should be able to gamble if they want to, but I do kind of feel like you shouldn't be allowed to advertise it. Like it's like with the cigarettes. Like
Yeah.
fine, if you still want to smoke, knowing everything that we know now, you want to be a fucking moron. Go right ahead, but yeah, you can't advertise that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Like people are gonna do it anyway, but does it have to be?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I saw an ad actually the other day. It was the FanDuel channel or something. There's a whole what network? Not network, but like a channel of programming put on by FanDuel. Shot. But that being said.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, that's it. We will take sponsorships.
We will
next
take
year's
sponsorship.
Nats.
Yeah, if you wanna throw some money our way, I will get down on my knees.
We've heard that about you, and I've seen the video.
Well, if you've seen it, I haven't seen a paycheck, so cough up, motherfucker. Nice to see you. It's nice to see you in chat. We had a we had a pretty enjoyable show last week. Obviously, we didn't have Than, which was a shame.
Which probably is what made it enjoyable.
But we had a chat to Rusty about kind of everything one might need to know in the lead up to Nats. And actually, now I just remembered, Rhea, I had this thought this week. I was like, I wonder if Rhea's coming to Nats. I miss her. Like, please come.
Yeah, you better come to Nats, Rhea.
Yeah, come to Nats. Disco Stu's coming to Nats. I can't wait. We are. Hey, actually, Disco Stu, are you coming to New Zealand after? Are you coming down here after? Because I might have some presents for you.
He's probably there now, to be honest. I mean, that guy's like always somewhere.
Man, I last time Stu was down, I was like, dude, what? Just move here. Why not? Like, just move here. It's fine. You're broke and too busy writing your dissertation. Education system is the worst. It's the worst. You're here in the Taupo?
Take it from an insider, I agree.
Are you flying? We're just going to do a little admin at the start of the show.
Of course we are.
Of course we are. Stu, are you flying to...
This is travel arrangements with the resupply.
Are you flying to Auckland? And if so, are you then... How are you getting to Taupo? Are you driving or are you flying down there too? Because if you're driving, swing past my house on the way.
He's hitchhiking. It's like in Kung Fu. He just kind of walks the earth from place to place, relying on the kindness of strangers, solving problems. That's just how Disco Stu rolls.
When Stu was down here, you're probably flying. Maybe we should drive down, bro. Maybe I'll come with you.
Look at Steve-O just inviting himself along on Disco's holiday.
I mean, that's how I roll. I crashed Beast's wedding. It was so random. Like, my family and their family have become quite intertwined.
Exactly.
In fact, there's the three families. There's our family. There's the Kings. There's the Mallets, and we're all kind of now ingratiated with each other, which is cool.
Yeah, you have enough for a laser tag team. You should just go for it.
Dude, we've talked about it. Like, I would love it. It would be awesome. It'd be a good team too. I mean, like myself, Monkey, like Bon used to play.
Yep.
Aaron used to play. Mark Mallet.
Mark
Beast,
Mallet,
and obviously Jared. Like,
yeah.
That's a good
You
team.
got some okay players in that extended family.
Maybe, just possibly.
We're all washed up, though.
It's like how all the royalty in Europe is like all related to Queen Victoria, and they've all just been like fucking in a circle for the last 300 years. That's going to be like the dynasty.
Just want to clarify, not quite the same.
The family tree
One
has a
hangs
few
out
more
in
branches.
palaces, the other hangs out in car parks. It's two very different things.
But where I was going with that is, fuck, where was I going with that? Oh yeah,
Who the
yeah.
fuck-
I just invited myself to their wedding because some of my family were going. I was like, well, I know you. I'm coming too. They're like, oh, cool, awesome. Can't wait for you to come to the wedding. One should know better. Don't invite yourself to people's weddings because it's expensive. Right, yeah, I'll come with you, Stu. Let's go. We'll go play some disc golf for the week. For the
Steve will
weekend.
not rest until he is the baby at every christening, the bride at every wedding, and the corpse at every funeral.
Well put.
I can't top that. That's okay. We're done. Moving on.
It reminds me, we're watching this Chaos show on Netflix, which I'd imagine.
I watched the first episode of that.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
I was like, maybe I'll come back to this. But...
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Well, I was gonna say, I'd imagine it annoys the fuck out of historians.
First of all, Greek mythology is not history.
wow, it happened in history. I'm not saying that it happened, but the stories happened, right? Yeah. But it's amusing. But I very early on was like, man, I bet the show would be better. Thank you, old man Than. The show would be better if you knew about Greek mythology.
I'm not sure that it would.
Right. This didn't happen. This is bullshit. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I don't know. It was kind of how I felt about like watching the most recent Dune film, where I'm like, I don't know if this would be better or worse if you haven't read the books. Because on the one hand, I feel like it would be better because you can just kind of immerse yourself in it. On the other hand, I feel like they're not really explaining any of this. So
Yeah.
I don't know that just a lay viewer is going to get a whole lot out of this. I don't know.
It's like, you watch it, I guess, for the Goldblumisms and that's fun. It's fun.
Exactly.
Will the sequel to Doom film be Quake? Good one. Dune.
Can't you understand with my bloody accent?
What's up, Dunks? Yeah. So, we it's not going to be a super long show today, but there are a couple things that we wanted to briefly talk about. Unless you guys have any news from the week, any news from this week?
Nothing that I think you guys want to hear. Because, again, work continues to suck out loud, and it keeps getting worse, and my red tape keeps getting red tape.
Ooh.
And, like, I have already, like, ranted at work on phone calls more times than I want to think about this week. Like, it has been a fucked week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I guess I can leave my week as corporate America gonna corporate America, and it's fucking ridiculous.
AT&T sucks.
I mean, AT&T
Yeah, fuck
does
those
suck.
guys.
That's accurate, but so does everything else.
Well, that's a real shame. We we'll try and distract you for at least a half hour before
Yeah.
Before
I would
play
say
soccer,
like one of the blessings / curses of my job is that on occasion we're supposed to like check our assessment data from like previous courses to see like how students have done over time and like how we stack up relative to the department and our different outcomes and all, just all kinds of quantitative stuff, which is a good reminder for me of like why sometimes I like having quantitative data, because like this term has felt like extra shitty and I'm just like, am I just tired? What is going on? But having to actually go back and look at like other reported data, I'm like, it's not just me.
Right.
Something's going on right now, and just it's not good. There's a whole variety of things that I could posit, but I don't have a lot of evidence for them. So therefore, they are perfect podcast topics. Let's dig into it right now.
What you're saying is that you're not being gaslit, or you are being gaslit. That's
Yeah, like by myself, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. That's the
But this
moral.
is just what we need. Another set of random internet ejaculations without any kind of evidence or data behind them.
Yeah, but the difference is generally we clean up after ourselves, so it's fine.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm just trying to find a way to monetize it, and we'll be good to go. because people want to see it. Right.
That's accurate.
Let's put all that in a tiny box and we'll set it on the shelf.
With a warm washcloth.
Oh yeah, we got to. We got to play some laser tag this week.
Yes, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I think I alluded to it last week or week before. But Auckland Laserforce Wairo has new ownership.
Huzzah.
Huzzah indeed. Now, like I said previous, and I'll say it again because it bears mentioning, but the previous owners were awesome. They just had a run of bad luck, which is a real shame. The new owners have come in and they are very, very excited about making real positive changes at Auckland Laser Tag. They are about our age. They're maybe like younger than Than.
So old.
And they are geeks like us, which is great
That's
news
helpful.
for us.
That is a very helpful secret sauce
Yes.
in ownership, because Auckland has survived. Auckland did manage to survive a very long time with an owner that was not a geek in any way, shape, or form, and really shouldn't have been owning the business that he owned.
No.
We don't stand anti-geek culture here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I believe it's a family of 5, and so far, the owners and their kids have all got vested interest in the place. Like they work there. They played members night with us this week, including the parents, which was awesome.
Nice.
They and really digging it. We gave them their first taste of Space Marines 5 this week, which was probably a good showing of like both the good and the bad, and not the extreme versions of either.
Okay.
All right.
But like, understanding that, I see how different this game is. I see how this game is not casual. I mean, it can be casual, but it's
not.
generally not.
Even for casual SM5, like it's still just a different level of like how much shit you have to keep track of.
Yeah. It takes teamwork. Like, and usually if you're in a darkened space with flashing lights and music and sound effects and shit, there's going to be shouting and it's going to be frantic, and there's nothing casual about any of that. So, we played a couple of games, and it was really fun. I think they enjoyed it. I don't know. We're gonna find out going forward. But at some point, I've asked if they would like to come onto the podcast and kind of say hi and stuff, and I think they're open to it, which is cool.
Nice.
They've talked about a lot of changes, and we were kind of discussing pre-show like whether or not I should kind of talk about those changes, because I don't want to be stealing anyone's thunder, but maybe we'll talk about a few things, and then and we'll save the rest for when they come on and they can kind of talk about their vision of what the place should look like.
You can't steal thunder. He lives in Utah.
Yeah, plus he wouldn't stand for those kind of shenanigans.
I don't know. Enough Swedish fish. You could probably bait him.
What's a Swedish fish?
It's a candy.
The little jelly candy.
Oh, what's the taste like?
Swedish fish.
Sugar.
Oh, okay. I like your answer better.
Slightly fructosey sugar.
Yeah, but like, is it like who cares?
It tastes like a Swedish fish. I don't have a better way to put it for you than that. It doesn't matter. It was a
Steve's
joke.
over there like imagining it's like dried herring or something. It's like Swedish fish. Yeah, okay.
Thunder in the back go, oh jeez. Oh.
There will be no herring at this year's celebration.
That might be the perfect Thunder impression that I've ever heard. That was great.
Sven, wer ist ein Lutefisk?
But yeah, so one of the things that we've discussed is how they kind of see membership and like members night and stuff going forwards. They have talked about implementing a subscription based model, which I kind of like the sounds of. So I think the thought process, you pay a monthly subscription and you get to play as much Laserforce as you like, which for us, for those of us who play on a Tuesday night and don't play any other night, I don't know if it'll end up being more expensive or less expensive or the same, but for those who play in the weekends, it's such a good incentive for them to start coming to Tuesday nights, and which is our
I was gonna
members
say,
night.
or maybe you have more incentive to play more regularly if you're already paying for it.
That too. So it kind of goes both ways. But I like the kind of thought process that's there. I don't mind paying. I wouldn't mind paying a little more if it meant our numbers increased over time. Like if we had a feeder system that and we've talked about it, on previous episodes. If we had that feeder system feeding into members night, I think long term it would mean possibly that you need another tier down for that funnel to feed into. So perhaps you then look at doing a advanced Space Marines night or whatever, right? Which would be awesome. I think it's something I've talked to other people this week about in the community. Having like Laserforce cover all of the different like wants that people want out of the game when they play it, right? So you get people who are at the upper echelon. They want highly competitive Space Marines. They want to play hard every game. They want to dominate every game. They want to be in that environment all the time, which makes it increasingly disheartening for people who want less than that, who want to turn up and just play laser tag with their friends and have a fun time and run around for 3 hours and play more than just coming on the weekends, which is playing with little kids and birthday parties and all that sort of shit. So I think maybe a subscription service would mean like you could kind of get all of those things, or they kind of naturally feed into each other, right? Because if you love laser tag, why not play? You're already paying for it. Might as well go play more of it if you're inclined.
So what you're saying is that the hardcore devotees, they're the ones who will be buying the subscription model versus just paying for individual games.
Yeah. And also like, because you do get a lot of people, I think, in the weekends who come and they play. Like, I don't know if you guys used to do it, but like, we go on a Saturday and just play for hours, with the general public.
Oh,
right?
no, we never ever did that back in the day when we were playing a lot of standard games. Nope. Not
Well, I mean,
us.
I did. Than was working, and I would just bother him constantly. So
That's accurate. That's 100% accurate.
But like, there's players now that are doing that same thing, right? We also kind of discussed, because I think there's been a stigmatism that we as regulars don't want to play with new players, or we don't want to play with anyone outside of our immediate player group, which is definitely not the case. So
I think you mean a stigma, unless their eyes are not interpreting light
I do
correctly.
mean a stigma, yeah.
I was about to say, yeah. I don't
My
know. I think. So, I've heard people like mention trying to do this type of subscription model before for laser tag, and I've always heard it as an idea. I don't think I've ever actually heard of it being implemented. So I don't know, if there's a legitimate way in which it works. There's some You know, there's some administrative stuff around, you know, keeping track of it and this, that, and the other. That's not really neither here nor there.
It's way easier than it used to be.
Also true. It is definitely a lot easier than it used to be, and it may be that part of the reason why it was never implemented in, you know, past times when it was discussed is because the administrative portion of it was not easy to deal with. You know, now, you know, because of how the Force system integrates with various point of sale systems, it should actually be pretty easy to, you know, it's like, okay, yep, this person has subscription, and they can't even, you know, log on if their subscription isn't active. So there's a whole bunch of stuff now where it is definitely a lot easier than it used to be.
For sure.
Back when we just had laminated printer
Cards.
paper with a barcode on it.
Pretty much. But I think
All five.
I think
sure.
yeah, I think the whole stigma around, like, you know, advanced players don't want to play.
Stigmatism. Sorry.
Fuck off. The whole thing of where advanced, you know, like the advanced players don't want to play with new players isn't so much. It isn't so much that, you know, we don't, in quotes. It's because at a certain point, advanced players understand that even with handicapping and everything else, which, you know, Force does a really good job of, probably does it best of any tag system.
No question.
In the industry at this point, and has for years, there is an element of, past a certain point, you understand that you can absolutely ruin a new player's experience.
Yeah.
And because you understand that you can absolutely ruin a new player's experience, you become less inclined to join those games, because you don't want to ruin their experience, because you gain that understanding of, oh, if I chase these players off, they're not going to come back, and that's going to hurt the business, which potentially means I eventually have no place to play.
Yeah.
Now, it
Good
can
one.
take
Sick,
players.
No.
It can take players a while to, you know, get there and understand this, and I think we've all done our share of, you know, newbie bashing throughout the years. I mean, I certainly have. But yeah, I think that whole self-selection thing is typically just kind of an element of, like, maturity within the player base. Now, if you suddenly have a model where, you know, everybody's paying a flat fee for unlimited games, or whatever the number, you know, games is that is on there. Like, if you happen to ruin one game for somebody, and, you know, but they're not technically, like, out money for it, like they're able to just, like, go back in, like, oh, well, that game wasn't so great, but I can just, you know, go in again, and I haven't, and I'm not outlaying more from my pocket. Then maybe some of that starts mitigating. I mean, you still have to be aware of, still, you know, not totally ruining somebody's experience, because you can still ruin somebody's experience. But
yeah, especially if it's like you have a mix of players in the same game, some of whom paid for that individual game, others who are on the subscription model.
Yeah, exactly right. The other things that it does, because, you know, there is this behavior that happens with some players who you know, come to the public games on the weekends. They're at a point where they are much better than just the casual gamers, but they haven't taken that step to, you know, to come into an advanced members night or whatever. So there's a couple of things that happen there. One is a lot of those players in the past have just played under suit names. And they do this because they don't want to be handicapped, right? Like,
to those players, we say, "Fuck you!"
but having
the resupply is against you and your whole family.
But having a
pox upon your name.
Having the subscription model would mean that they would have to play under their suit name, which kind of, you know, they're like, oh yeah, you get to play unlimited games, but you also have to play under your membership. So it gets people to appreciate their membership more. It means that people are actually understanding that their handicap is there to enrich the experience of everyone in the maze, not just them. Although to some players you'll never get rid of the if my score's the highest every game, that's how I know that I'm awesome. It's like, well,
yeah, but if you can still do that with the handicap, then that's what shows you actually good.
Well, exactly, but that's a lot harder to do, right?
It's like so funny talking about this too, because I think of like if you go play pickup basketball at the gym or something, there's always like that one guy who's like taking it a little too seriously, who's like setting super hard picks, like elbowing you under the basket, and that kind of stuff. I remember like I was playing a game like one time. I don't go that often. I'm not even at a gym anymore, but I was coming out of a game. I'm just like, God, what's that one guy? He's just like such a fucking dick, takes it too seriously. And then I was thinking, I'm like, fuck, I bet that's me in laser tag, isn't it? Fuck them kids. Ah!
But yeah, like at least this way, this is going to help to ensure that those players do play on a membership and do buy into the handicap system, because I get to play as much as I want, but I have to play under my suit, or under my code name. Sorry. So
yeah, I mean that's a fantastic tie-in. Like, and if somebody tries not doing that, then it's like, no, you don't get to play. This is specifically tied to this this membership.
Yeah.
And if you tap in, you're good. Like, everything's linked. You can do this. If you don't get to play. Like,
or you give me the you give me the more money. But like you like, it's got to be one way or the other. And maybe the only way kind of around it is to sign up for multiple memberships. But even then, like, you're gonna
multi-accounters. They're even worse than the suit loggers in.
But you'll at some point, if they're coming on the regular basis and they keep looking to sign up for new membership, like, that's where the staff can step in and be like, no, you have an account, top up your account. Like, that's how that works. No multiple accounts.
Or just my solution, when everyone is born, they have their Laserforce RFID chip implanted in their chest. So that way, when you put on the vest, it logs you in automatically. And it's literally coded into your DNA that will track you as you go through there.
Genius.
I'm not in favor of using this technology for anything other than Laserforce, so don't ask.
If you're paying for your games at membership price, staff shouldn't be allowing people to play without using that membership to log in. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So,
well, yeah, but not everybody's as much of a hard ass as us, Ducky.
Some people get fired from laser tag.
Or half the time they're just fucking 16-year-olds who are just literally trying to make a check and don't give a shit about the integrity of the game.
Okay, so this is why it's so good that it's a family-run business, because they have buy-in, right? So then the next part of that is if you're, so the flow-on effect from that is, if you have players who are playing a lot of laser tag in the weekend and they're playing under a membership, then the next logical step for them is, all right, well, this has become a little harder, but I'm still enjoying it. What else is there? And that's where the flow-on is, okay, well, you're already paid. Why don't you come along on a Tuesday night and you can come play with some of the regulars, and if you like it, sweet, stick around. If you don't, sweet, come back and play the weekends. But
well, and then also, because they are doing playing under the memberships, like, it just fully it just builds your marketing database better.
Exactly.
So you can do more targeted marketing for specific events, and you would have specific events that the subscription wouldn't cover.
Yeah.
Like, if you were going to do like a lock-in or something, the subscription wouldn't cover the lock-in. Because that starts getting into out of hour stuff that is extra, that
you can just say it doesn't cover like special events or whatever,
or maybe like not every special event. So like if it was an event like they did I think they did a thing for Easter, where if you want people to turn up and play your Easter event, or one thing which I think, and they've talked about they want to do, which I think should be a calendar event for every single laser tag site, is a Halloween event. having a dress up laser tag experience, or like if you have a decent a decent like member base, get them to come along and be zombies for the night in the arena, like stuff like that, which I think they've also talked about potentially doing. But those things could be tied into your subscription. Things like a lock-in, which is a longer event usually, maybe is on top of that. Any tournaments that you run, those are on top of that. But
if you've got the subscription fee, then it basically gets treated like membership does normally. Like, oh, you have the subscription fee, okay, you only pay X for it. If you don't, then you pay Y, which is substantially more than X.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I guess at the end of the day, you want people to be signing up as a member so you can capture their data. Like that's what membership is. It's data capture.
You actually just jogged my memory too in talking about having like a Halloween Zombies event, because when the Zombies game came out back in the old days of Laserforce Sacramento, they did a haunted house every year. Which some years was not super great because we basically had to wreck an entire section of the arena for it and build something from scratch all the time. But our owners were eclectic and they liked doing all kinds of weird construction projects. But I thought back to that when the Zombies game came out, and I was like, this would have been so cool when we had the haunted house if it could have been an interactive experience where you actually put on a vest, you run a continuous game of zombies and survivors. The survivors go in and you're looking to see how many points you can actually get, and the zombies are essentially the employees, the members, people who you want to hook into this kind of system. And it's okay, your job is to cover these sections. You try to shoot the patrons. You put makeup on them and everything. You get all the ambience going on. I'm like, that would be a really cool concept.
Be awesome.
But it does require a lot of work behind it.
Yeah, but if you have a good member base, I would say that we at Auckland, we have a good key. There's at this point we've got about 8 dedicated members who unless they are injured or have family commitments, will be there every week. And for the most part, and you could see it when we had the efforts after the floods happened, where a bunch of us went down and helped to do the cleanup. You have those people that I think would be willing to do fun stuff like that because it's mutually beneficial, right? Maybe for an evening you get 1 week or 1 month of your membership comped or whatever it is. You get a free month of subscription, whatever. Something. But yeah, I like it. I think it's got a lot of positives to it. I think the key would be, and is often the case, the key is having whoever is employed there or whoever is running that shift need to have that buy-in from them. They need to be the ones kind of driving that, and because it is family run, I think they have that. So that's one aspect of the changes that I'm very excited about. I think it could be a really cool thing. Another thing that they're looking to do, and I will talk about it because I think it is probably more. It's gonna more directly affect the wider Laserforce competitive scene. So, one idea that I had for the old ownership was, because they were, COVID has really messed us up. We need to find other ways of generating revenue streams. And an idea that I had was, why don't you set up one of the party rooms to be a recording studio? And you could rent that recording studio out to people who wanted to do either live streams or record podcasts, or even have people who are looking to improve their broadcasting, whatever it is. This could be a good way to do it. And they took that idea, and I think what they're planning on doing is converting a portion of the maze, or not even the maze, for those of you who have played at Auckland Laserforce, you'd know where the party room is, kind of in the back corner. One of the back corners is the square. But they want to turn the space above that party room into a recording studio. And what they want to start doing is they want to start live streaming either members' nights or games in general. And their thought process is that space up there is going to be kind of a commentary booth. And a commentary booth that'll have, like, you know, perspex windows that you can look out across, you know, that section of the maze. It'll have, you know, a PC in there, like good quality, like microphones. They're looking to fit the entire place out with better Wi-Fi, so there's strong Wi-Fi throughout the whole thing. And they want to run first-person camera streams in the maze, which I think is awesome. It's about 5 years too late, but it's going to be a really awesome jump in the kind of way that our game is kind of put out into the internet.
Is there enough room over the top of the party room to put another space there?
Yeah, so those walls are obviously very, very tall. And that's the one section of the maze that doesn't have air ducts and cabling, and like there's nothing there, like in that cavity above the party room.
Okay.
So the option is you can bring the ceiling down a little bit, and put a staircase that goes up into there, and, you know, put a room up there. Because, you know, the smaller the ceiling is up there, the better the acoustics are. So, yeah. I think the thought process was that was going to be like a place to have, like, a viewing booth for, like, parents and stuff to go up and take a look. You can't see a lot of what's happening, you know, action-wise in that area.
But just just having somewhere that you can point people to even try and have a look. I mean, that's still a selling point.
Yeah.
People love that shit. Parents love that shit. Is
That's
basically what it gets down to. So yeah.
They were saying that because I don't know if either of you saw it. There's a section in our maze where there's like a little window in that party room, where they have I don't know what they're called, the Gen 8 like turret things.
I forget. I always ended up calling it like a turret. I forget what the actual like industry code, like the name of the feature itself, like you would sell from the distributor, like to site owners. But
turret's fine.
Turret, yeah. For all intents and purposes, it's a turret for kids that are too little to go into the arena.
That bullshit where people can shoot me, but I can't shoot them back.
Wow.
Man, fuck all that.
So what I was gonna say is they've already had experiences where kids in the arena that see kids shooting at them from behind the glass will come up and smash on the glass or on the perspex because kids are stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like very much like a 12-year-old thing to do.
Yeah, and so if you raise that viewing platform, hopefully it will remove the ability. Well, it'll remove the temptation for people to smash their guns against the perspex. So
all these little unintended consequences you don't think of, but I'm like, yeah, I can 100% see that now.
yeah, because they get moody. They're like, "Stop shooting me!" Whack, whack, whack. Yeah, you know how it is. And they're like, "Steve, stop hitting the glass," and I'm like, "You shut up." But yeah, I think
we're that one guy at the gym who always takes it a little too seriously.
And then he's in the shower and you go smash on the glass. No. So I think having that studio in that space is going to be real exciting, because hopefully I can weasel my way in there.
I was going to say, are you going to start doing the show from there every week?
Maybe. Have you met people? They are inherently stupid. They sure are. It's because of stigmatisms.
As opposed to stigmata, which is completely different.
That's right, yeah.
There's too many stigma words going around now.
Yeah. Stigma balls. Yeah. So I'm gonna hopefully be
I knew
allowed.
someone was gonna go there.
Be allowed in the booth and do some broadcasting in there, because I think that, man, that's such a cool add-on. Like, and a not super expensive one. I mean, it can be,
Right.
but it's not like, it's not crazy expensive. You could do it for moderate amounts of money.
You just got to be careful that you don't end up with a situation like during the Loveland Nats where you accidentally change the sound settings and you're going through over the arena loudspeakers. The green medic is down to 1 life, but no one knows it.
Oh fuck. Now everybody knows it.
God damn it! Shut up, Steve.
Yeah, my bad. I don't want to name names, but it may be me. That booth better be soundproofed. Yeah. Well, so I was thinking. I mean, I don't think it necessarily needs to be. I think it's better if it's not. To be fair. Well.
Depends on the stakes, because you don't want to be calling a finals match and be like, oh, the green medic just ran by here. Like, oh, okay, they're over by the commentary booth.
Well, I think the booth would be like. I don't think people in the arena would hear what's coming out of the booth. I think the other way is true. I think the people in the booth would be able to hear what's happening in the arena, not necessarily the other way around, unless it was like an in-game situation and like.
I mean, to be fair, like even like during finals, you had Morange and Lucy and other people doing commentary like from the armory.
Yeah,
and couldn't hear any of that in the arena.
Yeah,
but they could definitely hear us.
Yeah,
There's a lot of shouting on those recordings. So.
Yeah, and most players are locked into what they're doing. So, but yeah, it would be pretty cool. I'm excited at the prospect of like first person live videos. I try to do it with these, but there's some issue in the arena that mess with the Bluetooth between my glasses and my phone. Like it just fucked with it.
I'm sure it's nothing that's going to give us all cancer later, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, couldn't possibly be the suits themselves and
yeah
all that. No, couldn't possibly be that, or the high amount of concrete in relative proximity or anything
I had
like that.
Well, I had my phone in my pocket, and like even that just it couldn't handle. But yeah, like the new owner, he was talking to me. He was like, I'm pretty sure there's an issue with this TV in the armory, and the one that's above the main wall of suits, because he'd go to try and use the remote, and it like just wouldn't work. And obviously the suits are emitting a fuck ton of IR, so yeah.
It's funny that
you figured it out.
It's possible we're getting interference from somewhere, but where could it be?
Yeah.
Well, that one's a head scratcher.
But yeah, that's another thing that they're looking to implement that I'm very, very excited about. I think that could be, depending on how they, like the value add that it brings into the like business itself, it might kind of dictate whether or not that's something that gets picked up by other sites. Maybe not. Maybe it's just hey, this is a cool thing, but the content that they can generate from it can go a long way to like advertising the game, right? Like, so specifically, we were talking about like an inter-schools competition or like that sort of stuff. If you can broadcast to parents their kids playing a competitive tournament game, maybe that's where the buy-in is. Their kid's gonna be internet famous. That sort of shit.
Yeah, it's just what every parent wants.
I mean, it is now. The amount of kids like, I'm gonna be a content creator. Kid.
That's cute.
Yeah. Enjoyed. Oh, actually, I'm not gonna.
I mean, you say that like people have these aspirations to be a fucking middle HR manager growing up. Like okay, like why is this this job is bullshit, but this one is perfectly normal.
True. You make a good point.
See, what we really need is for Scorpion, for the next gen of phasers to come out, to just install the camera in the phaser itself. And that way we'll always be able to tell who's actually keeping their gun up, because when we go back and watch the footage, we'll be like, kept seeing the floor, seeing the floor all the time, you're not keeping your gun up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so nauseous. I kind of... Yeah. That yes.
Sure, if it was Rusty's, it would just be like shaking back and forth constantly. Because I see him like he's like all twitchy when he's going through the maze. I'm like, that's how he's so quick on his shots all the time.
That's right. He's all cracked out.
Works for him though. So
yeah, son of a bitch. Yeah. So
you heard it here first. Do crack. It'll make you better at laser tag.
don't do crack. Don't do crack.
Definitely don't do that.
So far we've covered put your kids on the internet and do crack. We're doing a great job here.
Brought to you by AT&T.
Very responsible.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah. So those are some big changes that are, I think will do some. I think they'll do some real good for our site, and it'd be a cool case study to see. All right, well, Auckland Laserforce is doing these things. How did can we do that at our site? Would these things work here? And I hope they do. I hope especially the subscription thing. I think that'd be a cool thing, or a cool way for like that player funnel to kick off. Because if at some point, Tuesday nights become as busy as they used to be, we get like 30 odd people at a members night and you have to queue up if you want to get into the next game.
Yeah.
Cool. This is the way that we do it. Or now we need a spillover. So yeah, some
you can
really
have leagues and stuff. Oh man, it'd be so fun.
It'd be so cool. And if it's all paid for your subscription, awesome. Awesome.
Well, and like circling back to like having different tiers of players and stuff, and I know that I've kind of been beating this drum / being a broken record for a long time about having that kind of like intermediate member night on a different night than you do Space Marines. I think is like another really good feeder system, and if you could integrate that into like having the subscription model, like this is a major incentive why you'd want that, because you can come to these nights. But even if you don't, like, you can still get discounted games for this specific game type, because this could just be the fog of time obscuring this fan, and maybe you can think back to what things was like in the really early days of like 1997, 1998, when we were having those. Right. I think it was usually like Thursday nights.
It was Thursdays.
Where it would be a different game, like this week it's Time Warp, and this week it's Highlander, and this week it's Gladiator, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like we did have kind of like a clientele who would come to those nights but didn't really play leagues. It wasn't like a big number, but I felt like I did see like a different set of members on those different nights, as like I started playing League, but then I would still go on Thursdays, and it was like you would get some people who would cross over, but there were some people who were like, the League's not really for me. It's kind of just a Thursday night thing.
The Thursday night special game nights in Sacramento way back in the day, like those were very, very hit and miss. Mm-hmm. Leagues for the longest time were amazingly consistent, which was
it's crazy to think about that now.
Like very, very atypical as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But there would be like we'd have months where like 3 of the 4 Thursdays like nobody would show up for them, and then there'd be a Thursday where like there'd be like 7 or 8 people would show up for it. So it is, it is very, it was very intermittent. But I also like, I can't remember how much of that may have been because like it was on the calendar that was up on the bulletin board, but I don't know if like maybe like we weren't really pushing it correctly as staff
maybe
at the time, because obviously we were all biasing towards League instead of instead of kind of building that mid-level, because like everybody was playing League, so it was like, oh well, why would we need to like push this other day type thing. So that's something that I just don't remember. It's been.
It could just be my memory of like one summer
Yeah.
28 years ago where it was like, or it was like there was a league that was finishing, so I couldn't play league night because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, it's the middle of a league, like I can't join the league yet. So I was going to Thursday nights until like the next league started.
Yeah.
Or so
Yeah.
maybe that's just like my perception from then. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be helpful, but yeah, I don't know how consistent it could be. But since the only experience I really know super intimately is my own, I can just say that like I felt that was good for my player development to
Yeah.
like learn all those other games and then play League when it's
Yeah.
like you have the basic skills down. Because I've said many times I don't understand how people go from standard games to Space Marines 5, and maybe that's why A, they take longer to develop, B, like they seem totally lost when they come in because you don't have those kind of fundamentals. But
It's why you get so much washout as well, I think. Like, you'll
I'm
get
sure
the,
that's something to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get like the hard out ones that want to stay, and that's awesome. But you also lose a lot more people than I think you would if you had a mid tier. And I think that's kind of, I think they're going through some stuff at Loveland regarding that. Like, there's a good portion of the player base that either don't want to have as hard out games as they're having, or not can't handle, but like it's tough. You're putting yourself in a very stressful situation when it's supposed to be fun.
Well, I'll say this to the Loveland people: stop it, you spoiled bastards! You have a site. Just go play some damn games.
Well, but I think Brisbane are also going through similar things. Like there is an appetite for more advanced laser force that isn't Space Marines 5, because Space Marines 5, like we said at the top of the show, like it's a whole other beast. Like there's not really casual Space Marines 5. So
And there are other good games that are out there now.
Yeah.
Now, most of the people in our community still don't really play them that much because we are so focused and specialized on Space Marines, and that is still the most advanced, most competitive, most complex game, even compared to all the other stuff that's come out. But stuff like Laser Ball, if you're just coming in now, that definitely could be a viable alternative as to a competitive game you get into. That's cool and it's fun. It's not Space Marines 5, but it still has its own set of complexities.
Yep, we've been playing
Has
a
a-
lot of Space 4 and Laser Ball. Sorry, go ahead then.
Space
As
4 is
both,
good too.
both those have much lower barriers to entry, and we've had that conversation like multiple times on.
That was
on-
the first league I
on this
played with
channel,
Space Marines
so,
4.
Yeah.
Casual SM5 as possible, just not at Brisbane. I beg to differ, Ducky. And I mean, I could look at your site, and it's history as an example.
Ooh,
of it.
I think he was grasping for another word there. To settle on history is a word you can
Stigmatism.
Your history of astigmatism.
I've used that correctly. But yeah, like that's an example of why I think you need that mid tier. And Auckland we've gone through the same shit. I think most sites have gone through the same thing. If you've had a period of time where you had strong sites, but there was no new players really coming in to replace those older ones.
Yeah.
That's kind of why, and I think it's even, and again we've talked about this a bunch. I think that's the case why, because the competition for people's attention is so much higher than it used to be.
Correct.
That's the reason why. Like, if they're not gonna put up with veterans' shitty behavior like they used to, because there are so many other options for people to spend their time on. Whereas back in the day, we didn't have cell phones, didn't really have online gaming. Like,
Nowadays, you can do online gaming where no one is ever toxic, so that's great.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah. That's kind of that's kind of where it's going. But yeah,
that's all very exciting though, Steve. Like,
man.
I'm glad that the people who have come in and have purchased the site seem like they're I mean, to put it, they're our people in quotes.
Oh, they definitely are.
Like, it's like again, like having survived a site where the owner should not have been should never have been involved with laser tag.
And we're not talking about
at
the
all.
previous owners. We're talking about the one before.
No, they never even knew them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely Auckland's original owner
Yeah.
should never have been involved with tag. Like
I mean, to his credit, he wasn't
suit him.
really like. He had other people running the Hurricane, and Blair, and
He got it off the ground, so you did something right.
yeah, he basically.
If you at least make a place where I can go play laser tag, like I'm probably gonna think you're okay at least.
What's really cool is that the idea. So I've had many, like 2, sessions now hanging out with them. So Gavin and Dom, new owners, they. Like the first week that I met them, I started talking about some of the ideas that I've had for the place in the past, and they were saying we had that idea too. That's something that we've thought about, and that's how you kind of know. All right, they've got something special here because like if we're on the same wavelength, I've been here as a customer for 20 years at this point. If we're on the same wavelength now,
longer,
yeah. Like for instance, they are looking, I think, to run some D&D games in the maze, like actual tabletop gaming in the arena, like customer. I pay. I never worked there.
Great. Now I can fucking slip on a D20 the next time I round a corner and just crack my skull open in the maze.
Pencils aren't the only thing they're going to get you. There's all sorts of stuff. Like we've talked about, like, like theming. Like we've talked about side events, like disc golf putting nights, like disc golf glow putting nights in the arena, that kind of shit. Like all sorts.
It took us a whole hour to mention disc golf. I'm shocked.
But there's lots of stuff that we've talked about that I think that they they didn't say disc golf obviously, but like a lot of the stuff we talked about, it's been like mutual stuff, and I tried not to overstep from being excited to being like too involved. Like I know my place. I'm just a guy that likes to go there. But they've been awesome. So we're really looking forward to the stuff that they do, the changes that they make. Like people are scared of change. I don't think we are as a site. I think we're looking forward to embracing it. So
nice.
Yeah, man. It's lots of stuff happening. It's cool.
It's a good place to leave it probably since Than's got to go.
Yes, Than's got to go.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. I think we are. I think we're on a roll for the next little while. I think we got shows. Nothing planned to keep us from doing the show for the next little while. So.
Well, I mean, I won't be here next week, but that's fine.
Immediately, just puts the kibosh on that.
I'm traveling next week, so I won't be here.
Well,
just letting you know.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, go fuck yourself.
The point is, we're going to have some more shows at some point in the future. So if you come back, there may or may not be content for you.
Yeah, we might make some stuff for you, or we might not. That's none of your business.
Yeah, great outro right there.
Yeah. Look, we the train left the station already. The hype train. There's lots of exciting things happening in the world that we are all part of. I'm very, very excited about it. And contrary to the looks on their faces, the boys are too.
Listen, things are a little more exciting and not the greatest way in this country right now. So
yeah, that's right.
That's why it's a little more muted.
Yeah.
something tariff something. Get yourself a plane ticket. Come down and experience this part of the world. Wow, it's kind of like New Zealand, but way angrier.
More venomous.
Yeah. You're going to say more racist, but just louder about it. It's a good times. Come down and hang out with us. But on that note, I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. Shout out to Hoodie and Bridgie playing the Vic Open. Bridgie currently leading FA2. Fuck yes, Bridget. You legend. Always remember to throw a perfect Heiser line so you don't have to backtrack. We will see you. We will see you next week. Ka kite anō.
I've been throwing daggers in the night. I've been chasing all the stars, stealing all their lights. The cut so sharp, cut so deep. If they seem to